So hi, and thank you. Like Cliff said, I'm Robin, and I teach English and I run the Writing Center on the Tri-Cities campus. And to get started, one, I want you to know that all the pictures that I put in this are for your viewing pleasure. I like looking at water, and I like pretending I'm somewhere else sometimes. So anyway, if you're looking for like some thematic piece of the picture, this is something that I tend to do. Um, and the other thing I wanted to tell you before we start is this idea and way of thinking came about because I had a colleague who made a comment about the difficulty of being authentic in the classroom. And it wasn't that she finds it difficult to be authentic or to be herself, but she had kind of a, I don't know, like a story to tell about a student, as we all do. And and someone's advice back to her was just that if she were more authentic, or if she just did it this one special way, and and the comment was like, but that's not how I teach, and that's not who I am. And so it really spun me to be thinking about, like, what does it mean when I show up in the classroom? Why do I want me in there? And just that we do show up authentically in different ways. So this is being human in the classroom, and this is just kind of an idea to recognize what being human means and how that manifests and what the benefit of knowing this is. And I think that gets us started. So next slide, please. So Nell Noddings is a theorist. She's a care theorist. I really like her. I like the way she thinks about things. And so this quote is for you who think, for grounded in theory things. So the ethic of care requires each of us to recognize our own frailty and to bring out the best in one another. And so if you don't remember anything else, you're welcome to just remember this, that like we are not perfect, which is what makes us human. But that imperfection is what kind of brings us together. Okay, next slide. So just to kind of ground us again, if you Google being human, human is having the qualities, faults, and feelings that people have, which is not a very good definition, but it's as opposed to gods or animals or machines. And so just as we kind of run through this, this is the thing to remember. We are not gods, we are not animals, and we are not machines. Okay. All right. So next slide. Okay. So this is a think in your head activity. I will not ask anyone to share. So, but I want you to think about an embarrassing thing that you've done. It can be slightly embarrassing. It can be very embarrassing. But I want you to think about like something you've recently done in the classroom, or something related to teaching, or just something in general. And I won't ask you to share, but I'll give you a couple minutes, or not a couple minutes. I'll give you like 30 seconds. Except I didn't set a timer, so it'll probably be less than that.
I have a timer going, Robin.
Okay. Oh, that's true, you do. If you're like the rest of us, it won't take long to think of them. I will share a couple. I one time when I was pregnant, I had terrible morning sickness. Well, actually, that's not true with that kid. Doesn't matter. But I had to leave class one time to go and throw up in the class bathrooms. Not the class, the hallway bathrooms. It's been many times. And I remember getting stopped by a student, and he just kept talking and he kept talking, and I was dying. And then later he was like, I thought you were mad at me. And I was like, dude, I had morning sickness. Like, let me by. I have a colleague who one time set fire to all of his papers that he had to grade, because he thought putting his papers in the microwave would disinfect them. Don't put staplers in the microwave. My colleague next door to me confessed to me this morning when I asked him this question. He tries to make students feel better about, or give them a think partner. So he hands out ducks to his class, and in telling them about what the goal of the ducks were, he made like the worst typo you can make when you're typing the word ducks to his class. So like it's little stuff, right? I mean, we can think of like really large and embarrassing things, but also I think all of us bring to the classroom small accidents of things that just happen. Okay, next slide. This is really strange because I can't see anybody. Like I've realized this now. I'm sorry, I'm breaking my thing. Okay, so now think again in your head. What is a student behavior, whatever you want to think of, that's frustrating to you? And what is this behavior? And again, I'm not going to have you share these, but just kind of a pet peeve. I know your timer is still going. Okay, so for me, it's I had one shared with me yesterday. It was when they skip class for work, right? When you're like, oh, I thought this was what we were doing today, but instead you had a job. So like little things where just the things that kind of that pet peeves. Okay. All right. So next slide. So now here's the fun part. So with a partner in the room, see, I was prepared, or in the chat, I want you to think about whatever that pet peeve is. So my student, like I said, skipped class because they had to go to their job. Whatever that pet peeve is. If you were a god, and this is a little g, how would you react? And so think about, and so we're going to put these in the chat because we just are, because y'all are good and students. So if you were the ruler of the universe, how do you react to that thing that your student does when they make a mistake?
Just so you know, Robin, we won't be able to do that here in Poland.
You don't have to put it in the chat. You can call yours out with your partner. These don't have to be prolific. Don't worry. What do you do? Like if you're, I zap them with lightning.
Yeah, I have any idea. So was the question, I haven't even reacted to this, like, this is probably because of some.
But we're basically like, what you thought, how would God answers to?
Oh,
And you're like teaching.
strike them down.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
How to God, yeah, really.
Well,
I don't know, there's this prevailing feeling out there these days that
Yes.
they don't need to go to class if they do. I don't think our response is, if there's any points or activities.
okay, so we have some very kind people in Zoom land.
I get mad.
Hey, Cliff, do the next slide and let's do it again for animal.
Okay.
All right, so how does an animal react? So think about this again, where like for me, if I were Zeus, I would blast them with lightning, right? All power. I understand we have much kinder people.
It's gonna call that.
Right.
Yeah, that's why we talked about, they were mentioning a human being, not an animal.
Okay, and then the last one, because I know we have a timer, survival of the fittest. Yeah, Martina, I agree with that. Is the same thing with like, how does a machine react? And so this one has a little spoiler. The machine doesn't know that it's wrong, right? Like I have on here, they have no eyes, they can't actually see. But this is the thing that makes us human, right? So it's not a matter of like knowing exactly how I'll say it in the opposite. We are not the all-powerful being, the bard in front of the class, right? We are not animalistic and we are not machines, thank God. Right, we are human, and so we make mistakes, but I think part of it too is recognizing that our students also make mistakes. And so yes, you could be a koala bear, not the lion, right? And so one more slide for me. I think it's the last one. So the takeaways here, is for me, and maybe a bit hopefully for you guys, is as you recognize your own humanity, that we are not all powerful. We don't, you know, we do have thumbs. We can see more context. It's also how we model recovery from our mistakes, right? Model what it's like to be human in a public space. So your student makes a mistake. How do you correct them? How do they correct themselves? How are you make a mistake? How do you kind of forgive yourself? And it's that modeling that is kind of my intervention and my thoughts about today. So anyway, last slide, 12 minutes. I'm really proud. It went a little quick. Thank you for participating. And that's, yeah, that's it for me. You said there'd be questions towards the end of the hour, or are we doing questions now? Or are you
Yeah,
gonna take the whole thing down and I'm done?
We could save the questions to the end. I want to make sure that we have plenty of time for our presentations. Yep. So if you have a question, hold it, write it down. I would ask you to put it in the chat if you're online, but I can't see the chat, so you'll have to unmute yourself and ask it later.
Perfect. Okay.